Hey folks, hope you're well. It's been a really nice week of just exciting stuff happening and occurring and coming up and all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's what I'm going to talk about today. I think it's just lots of coolness. I mentioned several times that in April I'm taking part in like a autism creator takeover event that we're doing in a Discord that I'm in. What are they called? Discord groups? Discords? I don't know. But I'm in it. Anyway, so I'm excited because I said before, I'm taking part in a comic, I'm taking part in a writing task, I'm taking part in a game jam, and I've suggested some other things like a streaming event. I'm just putting stuff out there, and it's all looking very good. I'm working with some excellent people, and I'm super excited to be working with them. I mentioned before that I'm working with Schnum, Bex, who we did the panel with last year in October at Comic Con, as she's drawing the comic that um, we're both writing. I've written and she's edited, and we've worked through it together. We're working on it together. I'm excited to be working on something with her because her comics are awesome. So that is fantastic. I found out today that not only are we working on the comic, it's the first comic going out in the takeover on the 1st of April. And I'm like, okay, I kind of figured it would be early anyway because she's the one running it. But I'm like, okay, cool. We're launching it. That's fantastic. That's exciting. So yeah, I'm just like, ooh, okay. And so I was already buzzing about the thought of the fact that that's going to be seen, that's going to be popular. It's going to be a big month for that, and there's lots of other cool things that are going to be out there, and this, that, and the other. And then I was chatting to her about Comic Con. Are you going to Comic Con this year? You know, I'm going with Kev. I was like, I haven't heard whether we're doing the panel yet or whether, whether Kev's doing a panel and whether we're invited. So I coyly kind of, she said, well, find out if there's one on. If he's not applied for one, I'll apply for one. And so I messaged Kev going like, Bex wants to know if you've applied for one. And he was like, I have. And I said, okay, do I tell her that the three of us are on it? And he was like, if you behave. So I went back to her. I was like, yes, Kevin's confirmed you're on it. And as you've seen on Twitter, if you follow us on Twitter, which most of you do, he has confirmed that, yeah, in May's Comic Con, we're doing the Neurodiversity Panel again. There's going to be 5 of us on there. And yeah, I'm super excited about that. It was quite funny because I knew the tweet had gone out only because my phone just started erupting. It was like people liking the tweet and following me and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm super excited about that because last time I was obviously last minute step in and a guest and like not really involved. I was just kind of invited and I didn't know anyone other than Kev. This time I know everyone. Well, I know everyone except one of the people, although I'm familiar with them, and I am invited from the beginning. So I'm like, yeah, I can feel like I'm not an imposter. I was literally talking about being an imposter the other week. I do not feel like one in this one because I've been invited legitimately. I know, as I say, the people that are doing it. I'm working on stuff well, I work with Kev already, and I'm working with Bex on other stuff now. So legitimacy, yes, which is exciting because I'm thinking it's a nice big April, a nice big May, lots of stuff going on. So I feel excited because it hopefully will mean, that there'll be more people watching this stuff. I'll make more videos that are useful to people. I want to, April is the month where people make autism related content to spread awareness and acceptance and talk and make points. And I'm thinking, I'm doing things already, try and do more things, trying to think of stuff I can do for the channel. And yeah, it's exciting. It's cool. I'm hoping that it'll be an important month and a worthwhile month and people will benefit from it. That's exciting stuff. Comic Con, I'm very excited about because, as well as doing a talk, it's Comic Con. Emily's now obsessed with manga, anime, and all of that. So she's expecting me to bring a sackload of stuff back for her. She was trying to come with me, and I was like, I can't really do all the stuff I normally do if I've got to then lug you around with me. So I was like, no, we'll go. I'm following Kev's suit and saying to her, you can come to the Birmingham one, where we just kind of go to the event and leave. We don't do all the other stuff. Because I was like, I don't want you sat in the audience when I'm doing a panel. It'll affect how I talk. It'll affect how I act. I'll just be awkward. I need to get over that. I need to get over myself. But no, it's exciting stuff. It's cool. The other thing going on for us at the moment, which is slightly more on topic for the other stuff I talk about, like Ollie and stuff, he's got his class trip on Wednesday next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He and Claire are going away for 3 days with the rest of his class to stay in this place near where we live. And my word, are we nervous? It's been one of those things that I think when he was in year one, Emily was doing it, and we were immediately like, oh God, how are we going to prepare Ollie for this in 4 years' time? And then we've just not really, time has just jumped. I can't believe we're at that point. And he's going on it on Wednesday. We're very lucky that I said to him, there's 3 ways this is going to go. You're either going to have to come home, Mum's going to stay there with you, or the very unlikely thing is that you would go on your own with your TA. And I said, I don't think that's going to happen. And I think you'll be lucky if you don't have to come home. And he was like, I'd rather the one in the middle anyway. Excuse me, my nose. I've got hay fever today. He was like, I'd rather Mum comes and I share a room with Mum. And he was like, I could just say goodnight to my friends and I can sit on my iPad for a bit before bed. And I was like, that's very mature of you. He recognises that he needs that reading, diffusing, half an hour on Roblox or whatever, turn the lights out, go to sleep. So he was like, I want to do that. So we proposed that to school. There was a whole faff around whether we could get Claire's CRB check-in on time, and fortunately they did. So here we are, Wednesday. They're going to set off. Claire's taking them to school in the morning, and then there's going to be this 3-day period where I'm going to be like getting Ben and sorting out meals and doing all that stuff and running the house while Claire and Ollie are just off at this trip. And I'm going to be fine. It probably affect my schedule streaming on Wednesday, but otherwise it'll be fine. But we're sort of talking now, like, what's our plan? I said to Claire, like, just talk to him. Just say to him, like, if you're feeling a bit het up, do this. If you're worried, do that. Talk to him through, because like, for this party the other day, he was going to me, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get there. I'm so excited. And I was just saying, I said to you before, I put my hand on his shoulders and just said, it's great that you're excited. I'm so excited for you, but please be careful that you don't want that excitement to come out and the wrong way, or a bit like out of control because you're carried away. You just got to make sure you take it easy, take a deep breath, be calm. And he had a great time. So I said to Claire, you have to just keep reminding him, talking to him, being very much like, let's let a bit off. Let's acknowledge where we are. Let's think about this, But we've also agreed she's got me on. I'm at home, so she can FaceTime me. She can say, like, can you talk to him for a bit? I said I can always drive out there in the worst case scenarios. If there's any problems in the day, I could drive out and help. It's not that far. It's like 35 minutes, I think, maybe 40 minutes. Part of me is wondering, a little bit of me is thinking it might be a good day for me to nip into the office and talk at work, because then I'd only be like 15 minutes away. And in that way, I can also just drive back and get Ben after work and that kind of thing. So it could be an option. Might be a thing. I might do that, because I'll get onto this in a second, but work have been on to me to come into the office. So yeah, it's nerve-wracking because I don't know what else we can really do. We just need to take all this stuff. We're going to need to take his iPad, his books. We're going to need to set time for him to go aside. Lots of change of clothes, because sometimes if he's distracted, he can forget to go to the toilet and stuff like that. But we're preparing for it. It has, in the back of my mind, been a thing we've been worrying about for bloody ages. And I don't know whether they do this in year 5 or 6. Like, I don't know if they have a week away in year 6, because they did have that in Emily's year. It got cancelled because of COVID, and that was one of the many things they just lost out on. But if this goes well, they will go well. I'm hoping it goes well for his sake, because I know if it doesn't go well, they will worry about the next one. God, my hay fever wasn't this bad earlier. I took an antihistamine thinking that might kick in, but it hasn't. And Claire did say that the one I took was no good for her. So apparently it's not good for me. So the other thing that happened for me this week is I spoke to work about my diagnosis. I told you before I spoke to HR. HR were like, that's great. The list you've given us is really cool. Go talk to your boss about it. And I was like, I thought telling you meant I had told my boss and that I didn't have to talk about it anymore. And she was like, talk to your boss about it. So I sat there umming and ahhing. And as I said to him afterwards, I was like, there's no way to just go, hey, by the way, I was diagnosed as autistic the other day. I mean, that would have probably been actually quite a good way to do it in hindsight. Hey, by the way, to make a little song out of it. But I basically, we have a meeting every week at 9:30. And at 9:20, I went, hi, just to let you know, I want to talk about this in our meeting. I was diagnosed as autistic the other day. It's been like 2 years. Just thought we should talk about it. And he come on the call like, what? He was like, why didn't you just tell me that on the call? And I was like, well, that's because I felt like it was a weird thing I said I couldn't physically think of as a way to segue the conversation. Because our conversation was like, hey, how you doing? How's your weekend? How's the family? And, just going, by the way, the past 2, I was like, look, I just want to talk about it because for 7 years, there's always been these little disagreements, or they'll say, oh, we're going down to London for a day of meeting hundreds of people and partying, and we're going to drink till midnight and all of this. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to stay here. So I knew what was going to happen. I knew that I was going to tell him, and he was going to go, explains a lot, not really phased. There's nothing more to say. Like, cool, useful information. I'll bear it in mind for things. And that's basically what he said. He just sort of said, yeah, okay, cool. That explains lots of the things that we just talked about, like the not wanting to come on things. He said, that explains why you because I basically removed myself from the team in terms of doing any kind of salesy stuff. And that's not strictly how I wanted it to go down, but I couldn't explain to him properly. So now he understands properly. It might help me balance it a bit better. He was like, that probably explains why you need a bit more structure and a bit more kind of talk about things, and why he wanted me to go out and talk to all these teams about stuff, and I've kind of not been doing it. Or I have been, but not the way he wanted. And it was an interesting chat. He did say to me, that doesn't mean you shouldn't come into the office, which is exactly what HR were like. You probably need to come into the office more. You'll be lonely at home. It will help you feel more normal being in and all of it. And I was just like, no. Like, being in the office was genuinely exhausting. I spent a lot of the call talking to him about masking, which he was a legend about. I said to him, look, there's a thing with autistic people. I'm only learning about it myself, and I'm picking it all. But I said to him, look, being in all day is exhausting mentally because I'm acting like office me, and I'm being office me, and then I get home and I unleash it all on home. Like, I'm knackered, I'm angry, I'm annoyed, whatever it is. And I said, and it's not healthy. At home, I'm me. I get on with it. I pick and choose conversations. I don't have to have anyone just impose themselves on me. I don't have to bear everyone's criticisms of each other, repetitions, smells, all the stuff. I was laughing to myself thinking, there was this problem I used to have where even when the office was empty, 2 of the older people that worked there, I don't know what this I kind of know what this is because I ended up Googling it, but 2 of the oldest people there would always walk in and go, it's like the Mary Celeste in here. And they used to say it in the same way, at the same time, in the same beat. Like, they'd open the door, I'd hear the beep of the door would open, step, step, step. It's like the Mary Celeste in here. And then they'd carry on with what they'd been doing. And it used to drive me nuts because it was just every day, the same 2 people, the same way, all the time. And I just think, oh my God, you've said that so many times. Why do you feel like that's what you need to do? You announce yourself by telling me it's like this ghost ship. Apparently it's a ship that used to sail around the ocean. And I used to just think little things like that used to carve me in two, because it'd be like, I don't like that. It messes with my head. And I notice the patterns and it bothers me. So I didn't say that in my call, but I was like, look, there are just lots of little things that really get me, and they all build up. And then he was talking to me about a colleague that has a different illness, disability, whatever. Theirs wasn't a disability, theirs was an illness, is what I was trying to say there. And how exhausting it was for them fighting it all the time throughout the day to try and get through the day without it affecting them. So he was like, so I completely understand what you mean about fighting it and this, and how exhausting it can be. And he said, but you still need to maintain those skills. I was like, I completely agree, that's fine. But I said, there's also got to be a point to coming in. I'm not just coming in for the sake of coming in. I kind of want to be left to it. I need to work. So anyway, it was a good call because he was very supportive. It was very cool. I wasn't expecting him to be uncool, but he was very it doesn't change how I view anything. I know he also accepted he needs to make sure that's the case. He was like, I'm gonna have to tell the other managers so they are aware, so they understand, and just out of courtesy. And I'm like, that's fine. I wanted you to do that. He was like, don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. Like, talk to me. Be open. And yeah, we just had a good chat. It was nice. So I do feel positive about that. I do think maybe I can kill two birds with one stone next week by maybe nipping in on one of those days so that I can say I'm here, but also in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm actually only 15 minutes away from Claire and Ollie if the poo hits the fan. And from a logistical point of view, I'm weird because if I'm at home, I really don't like forcing myself to go out and get Ben. If Claire's on the way back and can get him, that's great. If I'm coming back from work and getting Ben on the way, that's a completely different ballpark from my brain. So yeah, that'll work. But yeah, wrapping it all up, I'm excited. I feel like it's a load off my shoulders talking to work. That's done. It's a load off my shoulders worrying about all of that. I've been worrying about Ollie's trip for 4 years, so the fact that that's about to be come and gone, it's going to be a stressful week worrying about it, but once we get to Friday, it's going to be fine. I have absolute faith he's going to be fine. We are going to talk to him. We are going to plan. It's one of those things where it's like all the best laid plans are going to be put into effect now, and we're going to just see how it goes. And I have faith, but they also accept, and we all know anything can happen. And it's not Ollie's fault if it does, you know. It just is what it is. So it's cool. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm super excited about the comic takeover, the other bits and pieces that I'm working on. I feel like the game jam is going to be interesting because it's like a month-long project with people that I barely know doing quite a difficult task, I guess. I mean, I'm the writer on it, so that's cool because my work gets kind of done very quickly and then I'm helping, if that makes sense. But it's still one of those, it's like a group design project at uni, isn't it? So we'll see. I'm excited to see what other ideas we come up with for the month. I'm really looking forward to the stream ideas and stuff like that. I feel like that'd be cool. You know, it's one of those where doing a few event streams would be nice. It'd be an exciting thing. I've not done an event-y type stream before. And I just feel like that'd be cool. And yeah, I'm just generally hoping that it'll be a good way to meet a load of new cool people and expand the people that I that know about me, I guess is probably the best way of putting it. And I don't mean that in like a corporate-y drag people in kind of way. It'd just be nice to meet more people. You've all been absolute legends so far, so I'm excited about that. So yeah, good month ahead, good 2 months ahead. Hopefully by the end of May, I'll be like, wow, what a shift. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let me know how your week's going. Sorry that I've been affected by hay fever. It is a weird feeling. It's like, I don't know. It's just something stopping me talking properly. I need to figure out, shut whatever window's causing it and whatever. But I'll talk normally next vlog. Hopefully it'll be done by the podcast tomorrow. Otherwise I'm going to be a nightmare. But anyway, going to wrap up there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I forgot what I'm saying because I said podcast. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all soon. Cheers.